The right message at the right time can make you say,
Wow, man.
completely shift your perspective and change your life. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's been a while. For those of you who don't know me, my name is CP, and 7 months into becoming a full-time content creator, I'd shot for the UFC and was working full-time with Europe's leading MMA promotion. And today I'm sharing 3 pieces of content that have changed my life. The first piece of content is a sports documentary on Netflix, and I have to give it the context it deserves. It was my first year at university, and I was living my best life as a fresher. I'd also recently just started boxing at the time, so I was getting embarrassingly drunk on a weekday and then getting beaten into the best shape of my life at the same time. So it was I was burning the candle at both ends, if that's the right way to use that, but it feels right. I was very much at a crossroads of taking boxing more seriously or just continuing living my best life as a fresher. At a similar time, I had a night to myself, so I thought I would catch a vibe, watch something good, and just get a good night's sleep. And this is when I watched The Notorious. I had never been like so hooked or so captivated by someone's story. By the end of it, I distinctly remember getting out of my single halls bed and going over to my whiteboard and writing, "Success is a mindset." This sports documentary really revealed to me that success isn't something that you're born with. It's not something that you stumble across. It's the belief system that you can be whatever you want to be and go out there and prove it to not only yourself but to others that you are who you say you are. Say what you like about Conor McGregor. If you're judging him by his antics on social media or his acting debut, then you probably don't have the best impression of him. But regardless of his antics, it's undeniable that his run between 2013 and 2016 was the stuff of legend. If you don't know much about it, go and watch this sports documentary, and I have no doubt that you'll come away feeling inspired by the power of mental fortitude and self-belief. And if you have seen it, just go watch it again. The second piece of content that changed my life was actually one that I made. I now have the security of a full-time job, so I can actually tell this story truthfully for the first time in a while. COVID had broken out. I was working 2 part-time jobs at the time, and I just committed to the idea that I was going to give a year of my life to becoming a content creator, something that I'd always wanted to do. I was boxing at the time. I'd watched The Notorious, so obviously I considered myself an MMA expert. So in my head, it just made sense to try and put the two together. So I reached out to a strength and conditioning coach in the MMA space because I was genuinely curious as to how he managed to stay so consistent with his content um, on top of his work as a coach. Because this was, again, a relatively new space. And looking back, that was probably a very solid way to approach cold outreach, but did not mean it in the slightest. So, complete fluke. After some back and forth, I ended up signing him as my first ever client, which was awesome. I was through the roof. I wish I could say that it was the first post. That would be just so perfect for the story, but the second post that I put out was my first originally shot and produced piece of content for a client ever. I went to a behind the scenes shoots for an app that he was working with, and literally went there with my iPhone and was literally just running around with an iPhone putting a behind the scenes montage together. And yeah, looking back, it may not have been the best piece, but whose first piece of content ever is? And I still am to this day over the moon about it because it was the culmination of all my efforts to forge my own path. The third and final piece is actually a series or a pre-show, whatever you want to call it, that I still watch to this day and still love to this day. Now, regardless if you're a fan of watching fights or not, if you think it's too aggressive, too violent, whatever you may think, consider watching this. Effectively, what it does, it takes a closer look at the people wearing the gloves, people inside the cage, their motivations, their stories, their how they've ended up in this position, and what drives them to continually pursue greatness. This is called UFC Countdown, and it's a 45-minute pre-show that's released before every numbered UFC event. The show shows you why the fight itself is only the cherry on top. All the good stuff about MMA, all the pudding, if you want to put it like that, is in the build-up, is in the characters, is in the stories behind the fight. Really gives you a look into the people that pursue greatness on a daily basis, which is beyond inspirational and just incredible to watch. As a fan of sport, in general, definitely give it a watch. I guarantee you've come away feeling inspired and just fascinated by the people that fight for a living. That, ladies and gentlemen, is 3 pieces of content that have changed my life. I hope you go away and watch at least one of these. I think you won't regret it, whether you're an MMA fan or not. I'd love to hear if any of you guys have any pieces of content that have changed your life. Let me know in the comments below. I'll definitely check them out. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you at some point soon.